Delegates at the ANC Eastern Cape Conference will vote for new provincial leadership this weekend. Premier Phumulo Masualle is facing off against Provincial Secretary Oscar Mabuyane for the top position. Let's take you live to that conference in East London. Our reporter, Xoli Mgambi, has been tracking developments in that province for the past couple of days. Xoli, perhaps let's just begin with the news that's just in regarding the voting and what actually will be voted on going into the rest of this weekend.
Well, good evening, Kathy. The announcement, or should we say in news just in, the announcement has just been made by the provincial secretary who was outlining the program for the evening, Kathy, and he says that owing to the delays in particular of registering and accrediting the delegates, which is also called, Kathy, in political terms in the ANC, it's called the credentials. Oscar Mabuyane basically is saying that the election of the top 5 leadership will actually no longer be happening this evening, and that's owing to the cleaning up of that credentials report, which basically means, Kathy, it's a report that basically lists who is here and who's supposed to be here legally, and importantly, Kathy, who is supposed to be a voting delegate. So that credentials report basically in its bare essentials is about primarily that. And so they're saying that they're still cleaning up that. He says that there is this niggling 1% that they need to deal with for the program, or for that particular report called the credentials report, for it to be adopted. And that then means, Kathy, once that has been adopted, then the conference is truly and well underway. So tonight, Kathy, where we were going to see the nomination and possibly a vote for the top 5 leaders, we're no longer going to see that. Instead, what's going to happen right now is that on stage, I assume right about now as I speak to you, is the provincial chairman, Phumulo Masualle, who is tabling his political report. And then after him, it's going to be messages of support from the alliance partners like Sanco, COSATU, the SACP, who are going to give messages of support. After that, the conference adjourns, Kathy, and everyone goes to bed. And they're saying that this is also meant to give time to rest for delegates who have been registering overnight and have not really had much sleep.
Xoli, of course, it was a delay just getting the conference started to where it is right now tonight. Have they been able to accredit all the delegates as we speak?
Well, Kathy, the leadership is saying that all of that now has been put to rest. The registering and accrediting the delegates who are supposed to be attending here. Very, very important process, Kathy. So we are told that that has been put to bed. But as I speak to you, there's still a queue of people who are actually making their way inside the conference hall. Unfortunately, those people, the proceedings that are going on right now inside, it's probably going to miss them a little bit, but that's the long queue, possibly resulting, Kathy, from that very registration process and accrediting of people. But there has been also, Kathy, very inexplicable delays here, because they said that the process of registering and accrediting the delegates was actually going to start at 11, having obviously stopped at 6 o'clock this morning overnight because they ran out of stationery. But after that, Kathy, the leadership was at pains trying to explain why this further delay, and we do have some rumors that there have been some delegates from some regions who were refusing to come to the conference hall, and I suspect, Kathy, it all has to do with that all-important credentials report, basically going through with a fine-tooth comb the process of ensuring that whoever is here legally and has been sent by their respective regions.
And of course, Xoli, throughout the day you've been witnessing some of the delegates who support the 2 main contenders in this election going head to head. They began the day with holding separate meetings, and I understand there's also been a ban at the conference on T-shirts representing either one of those contenders. Speak to us about the tension happen in that regard? What have you seen, and how is it translating itself to the extent that it could in and of itself be a detriment to this conference?
Well, Kathy, it's a very important issue you're touching on, because the leadership, in particular the two main contenders here, Phumulo Masualle, the incumbent chairperson and premier of the province, and Oscar Mabuyane, who also is the secretary of the province, the two of them are set to go head to head. And so they've been at pains trying to present this united front. Oscar Mabuyane was actually kind of frustrated at the beginning, Kathy, as people were filing in, telling delegates at some point where he would just walk up to the podium and say, comrades, please, can we sing songs that are uniting in this province? Let's sing songs rather about Oliver Tambo, this being the year of Oliver Tambo, as opposed to singing factional songs, because most of the songs here, actually, Kathy, have been, or the songs that have been dominating, perhaps I should say, are those that are in support of him, Oscar Mabuyane, who is favored to take over as chairperson. So, Kathy, that has, in a way, characterized what the activities outside have been, in particular, Kathy, when that large crowd was making its way in at around 5 o'clock or so, when Oscar Mabuyane went outside to try and urge them to come in quickly inside the hall. We saw them erupting, basically very happy to see him, to a point where he was actually blushing. And we sort of captured that moment. So those were the people that really are in support of Oscar Mabuyane. Not much enthusiasm, Kathy, towards the current chairperson of the province, Phumulo Masualle, but perhaps we will see some of that inside the conference hall, those who are supporting him. So in a way, Kathy, that is the sum total of what the atmosphere has been like. But the leadership is very clear as well, Kathy, that it is a highly contested conference. It is going to be a highly contested conference, and I think that's why they are emphasizing, putting emphasis that the songs that are sung, you speak about T-shirts, those T-shirts, it's important that none of them bear the faces of either candidate. So it's going to be a tough 24 hours, Kathy, but I think things are going to be even tougher tomorrow when that all-important credentials report gets adopted. Will everyone be happy with the number of delegates that come from each respective region?
And of course, you can expect more from Xoli Mgambi out in the Eastern Cape for the rest of the weekend. Thanks for that, Xoli. That's where we leave it for now. More news continues on Newsnight. Stay with us.